Prosperity SUSA has decided that they're going to make some significant changes to their New Vista final expense product. And today I'm going to share why. And guys, by the way, these changes are going into effect on July 1st of 2023. Thing is, they're kind of small, but they're once again, very significant. And I think it's going to change things. I hate to say it, but right off the bat, for a couple of other issues, I can't blame it on the changes, but for other reasons, they are no longer in our top 3, which they were just about a year ago, or even in our top 5. And so by the end of the video, I am going to share with you my new top 5, actually top 7 carriers from number 1 to number 7, because it's changed. Even recently, I put out a top 5 video or a top 3 video like a month or two ago, and I've already made changes to multiple carriers for a few different reasons, which we're going to get into in this video. And if you stick around until the end, I'm going to show you how to get a copy of the Prosperity niche cheat sheet that goes along with the New Vista product. So guys, it's still a doable product. We're still keeping it. We're still going to sell it. And this is a pretty cool like niche / cheat sheet. And of course, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you're a new viewer, we do suggest that you subscribe. We're putting out new insurance related and final expense sales training content like pretty much every week. The main change that they're making, at least the one that sticks out the most to me, is that they're no longer going to take people that are 50 years old. Their product is going to start at 55 and older. So why would they do that? Well, look, guys, those of us who've been in the industry for a long time, we know that persistency is a lot lower. Well, it's lower, maybe not a lot. It depends on the age range, but it's definitely lower from people that are 50 to 54 than 55 and up. And when you go below 50 years old, it's a lot lower. We see some serious persistence issues with people that are in their 40s. So now what's going to happen is they're going to get less clients, but they're going to get better business. If you're Prosperity, you're probably thinking, if you work at Prosperity, you're one of the people that helped in this decision, you're probably thinking this is probably going to make a big difference. I think it will. I think it's actually going to help them with their persistence issue more than anything. It should make a big difference. However, for the agent, I was already thinking, wow, wouldn't it be great if the product went down to 40 years old? So now it's going to start at 55 years old. The second change is that they are no longer going to be in North Carolina, Maine, and New York. So with New York, I get that. They probably shouldn't have been there in the first place. Just final expense. And New York's got some pretty crazy regulations. I have no idea exactly why they're pulling out of Maine and North Carolina. The one thing I will say is in North Carolina, there are a lot of insurance agents jumping over each other, replacing insurance policies. Is it significantly different in North Carolina than maybe like South Carolina? I don't know. That's really one of the only things I can think of, but they did say it has something to do with regulations and costs. So I guess, at the end of the day, you got to accept it, guys. No more Maine, no more North Carolina for the Prosperity SUSA New Vista product. Now, again, these changes did make me have to rethink as to whether Prosperity is still in my top 5, but one of the other issues that we've been having lately, and let me just say this, 3 years ago, one thing that I loved about Prosperity was they had a pretty darn good approval percentage. Like you could get a lot of people approved with that Prosperity New Vista product that, and let me just say approved level that could have inadvertently gone like graded or modified. But once again, they seem to have been a little more lenient back then. That's changed. And I would say over the past year, it's even gotten worse. I feel like they've gotten stricter, like their underwriting has just really tightened up. And that's something else that made me weigh. One of the things we teach our agents at United Final Expense Services is you got to weigh what's important, the best price for the client or getting them approved. And when you're having a hard time getting clients approved with first day coverage with a specific carrier, and you're able to take that same client to a different carrier and get them approved for first day coverage, then you start looking at that first carrier. And that's exactly what we're doing with Prosperity. So unfortunately, they're no longer in our top 5. One of the things that I am doing in my top 5 is I had to revisit Great Western because of that product that they recently put out, the level and the graded product. They're now in our top 5. And let's start with number 1, SBLI, the Savings Bank Life Insurance Company. Their final expense product is definitely my favorite product right now. Now, let me give you some pros and cons. The one thing that I'm not happy about, and I'm going to do my best to have a little conversation with the president and vice president of marketing, is that it does not do true Social Security billing. And if you don't know the difference between Social Security billing and true Social Security billing, you really need to check into that if you're selling final expense, because it's a game changer. But they have very high approvals, and that is what I love about SBLI. We're seeing an abnormally, how do I say this? It's an abnormally high approval percentage of the clients that are being sent to them. Another thing I really love about them is that they have the, let me say it right, Sequoia Funeral Concierge Plan. This thing is awesome. I've talked about it in the past. It's kind of like something that Lincoln Heritage has. It's kind of something that Senior Life in Georgia has. It is basically a game changer for a lot of people. One of the things that we're doing now when we make our telesales presentation is we're asking the client, Mrs. Client, if I can help you to set up your funeral so that your family can do less when you pass away and they don't have to worry about it, would that make a difference to you? They're all saying, of course, I would love that. And that's exactly what the Sequoia Funeral Concierge Plan does. The one thing that we aren't happy with about this final expense product, the SBLI final expense product, is if your client is not on Social Security, and let's say you want to set up the draft date for the 15th, they won't allow you to do that. They want you to collect a payment now. Now, I understand why. When I was back in the day a Hartford agent, my boss would not allow me to take a voided check. He would allow a voided check, but he also wanted me to get the first payment, period. And so the thinking is, if they're not on Social Security, and let's think about what Prosperity just did with people under 55. If they're not on Social Security and they can't afford to make their first payment right now, then how's this going to work? And that's kind of the mentality here, which doesn't really work in a lot of cases because a lot of these folks do work. You know, they can manage their money to a degree. A lot of people can't. You know, people that work, we expect you to be able to manage your money, right? So for me, you know, how do you get around it? Well, here's what I'll tell you. You can do the application and send it up. As long as you send it up within 10 days, then boom, they're going to draft the next day. So that's one thing to do. Or you simply got to call the client back and then do the application like the day before the bank draft, which is kind of weird. That's the only thing I would say I really don't like, but I understand why they did that. They did that because it's actually going to keep better persistence, which is the issue that Prosperity had. And that's why I'm bringing that up. Number 2, American Amicable. Awesome product. I've loved them. They've always been my number 1. If it wasn't for SBLI, they would be my number 1 product. They do true Social Security billing, which is very, very important. And basically what that means is the bottom line is they will draft the payment on the exact day that the client receives their Social Security benefits every single month, period. SBLI, Mutual of Omaha, a lot of other carriers aren't. They're going to actually end up drafting the payment a couple of days late after the client receives their Social Security benefits on 4 months of the year for various reasons. Again, if you're not sure what the difference between true Social Security billing is and Social Security billing, you really need to learn what that is. And I love that their graded and modified product, American Amicable, is very, very competitive. That's one of the things I love. So when you go to apply for level and then the client gets offered graded, it's not a huge difference like it is with other carriers. So I'll give you an example. Like Transamerica, it's night and day. Like you can try to get a client approved with a level and the payment's, let's say $50. and then it goes to graded. With Transamerica, it could be like $80, $90. And don't quote me, I'm going on memory, so I'm not 100% sure. The bottom line is it's going to be night and day. With American Amicable, their graded product and modified product, which the return of premium product, is super, super competitive. Number 3, Royal Neighbors of America. Bottom line is they got a couple of niches. We see pretty decent approvals with them. They don't have a build chart. They don't do a height or weight chart. They do true Social Security billing. So here you've got 2 of my top 3 carriers do true Social Security billing. SBLI, if you're listening, please start doing true Social Security billing. And they have member benefits. Royal Neighbors of America has these really cool member benefits, including they'll do wills and other legal services for you, the agent, and for your Royal Neighbors client. They do these telehealth visits. So let's say the client has a health condition, they're not sure what it is. They can actually speak with a doctor on the phone. Pretty cool. They give you deals on prescription medications, glasses and other vision stuff, dentist visit discounts, which is pretty nice. And they also do other things with like, they somehow give you discounts if you have to have labs or scans or x-rays done too. Number 4, Great Western. Okay, like I said, guys, they've introduced recently this level and graded product that are actually pretty competitive. The thing I really like about Great Western, also on top of that, is that they do have the GI product. Now, keep in mind, guys, the GI is 40 years old and up. The level product is actually 50 and up. Now, this is kind of weird. So the guaranteed issue Great Western product goes from 40, they'll insure people at 40 years old to 80 years old, as to where the level and graded product will insure people 50 to 85. So they're actually going a little bit older than the 80, which I believe is pretty cool. They don't do true Social Security billing, and we have not sent them a lot of business for various reasons because we have other carriers. I would like to revisit maybe in the next couple of months doing a video only on the Great Western product, because I got a feeling we're going to be sending them a lot more business than maybe they're used to getting from us. Number 5, Liberty Bankers Life. Now, let me just say this. Hold on a second. We could actually make number 5 like a tie between like Liberty Bankers Life, Prosperity, and maybe even get Lumico in there. But if I had to pick those 3, I would have to say Liberty Bankers Life does have the edge. They do the true Social Security billing, and they insure people as young as 18 years old and old as 80. They got a couple of niches. Other than that, the approval rates, I will say the negative is the approval rates for Liberty Bankers Life for their level product is not as high as I feel it should be, but it's still a very competitive product. It's still necessary if you're doing telesales as an independent agent. Number 6, Prosperity. There you go. They're no longer in there, but I would give them the edge over Lumico, which is number 7. The things I like about Lumico is that they'll take people 40 to 85 years old. They take debit and direct express cards. They don't do true Social Security billing. Oh, and if I didn't mention it, Liberty Bankers Life does do true Social Security billing. That's very important. I'm not sure if I mentioned that or not. But the issue with Lumico they were in my top 5 2 months ago. And the reason they're no longer in my top 5 is because we're having serious issues getting approved for level coverage. They are being a little strict on the level coverage. So do they still have their place? Yes. If I need a client who has a debit card to get them first day coverage, I am not going to be going with Lumico, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. No, I've switched gears. Yeah, no longer in the top 5. We need to get more first day coverage approvals for Lumico percentage-wise before we start sending them level business again. I hope this video helped you, gave you some guidance. If you'd like a copy of that Prosperity New Vista niche cheat sheet that I mentioned earlier, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. If you'd like information on our remote telesales platform, the one where we can actually guarantee you 20 to over 30 appointments every single day, and these are appointments that are set by the clients themselves. They're going to see your photograph. They're going to be expecting a call from you. Just email me at that same address. As always, guys, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now get on out there or get that headset on, and whatever you do, do something good for someone today. Happy hunting.